Hey, this is Ankush Dharkar. I'm a software engineer at Amazon, and I also run the Real Squad, and I will be answering questions by Recro. Hey, my name is Ankush. I've been a full stack software developer for about 8 years now, and I'm a front end heavy developer who also does backend from time to time. I currently work at Amazon as a software developer, and I have worked at Hotstar and Pesto in past. My programming journey started. Wow, it started like back in my middle school, like sixth or seventh standard, when I got introduced to the concept of programming through changing configuration files in various games to get a few power ups and basically to cheat a little bit. And from there, it went on to like learning to write a little bit of code to like basically hack my father's computer and bypass the admin login to get more privileges to then use internet and then go on to do funny things with his computer just for fun. And after that, in my 11th and 12th, I took up informatics practices as a course, and I basically used Visual Basic and Oracle to build some visual interfaces and some fun programs. And from then on, I decided that I will be a computer programmer. At Amazon right now, I'm working on this exciting product called Amazon One, which is basically a palm-based biometric identity and payment solution. So it's a little device that can read your palm and identify who you are, because a palm is unique to every user. And what it does is you can basically go to a place, hover your palm over the device, it knows who you are, you can do payments, it's very secure, very quick, and it basically is like a physical key to your digital world. So you can like manage a lot of things using it. So it's a very cool product, and I'm very excited seeing it go out in the world. You can like go pay for like your coffee, you can like go to your concerts, like whole bunch of things just using your simple palm. So you don't have to like carry a wallet or carry any kind of like device or phones anymore if you don't need them, because you always have your palm. So Real Dev Squad is basically a very collaborative, warm community for any individual who wants to do well in their career, be a very effective, not just a developer, but they can be product managers, designers, social media folks, project leads, like anybody who may break into a tech industry and take up a role there. Real Dev Squad is built to mimic workings of a chaotic tech company, but also a good tech company. We follow a lot of great practices here. So it's an experience-based skill building and learning and collaborative community where you basically become, it's like having a cheat sheet for success. Maybe success is too big a word, but yeah, it helps you become very, very, very good in your careers. And it's for anybody who wants to put in the effort to better themselves and also devote enough time. People who are serious about making a change in their lifestyle. And the reason I started this was I needed this kind of a community when I was growing up and I was in college and trying to like find my way around a confusing landscape. I did not have mentors. I did not have, people in my family or I didn't know any people who were already in the industry who could guide me. So I wanted to make sure that we as a community act as a resource for the budding developers. But over time, we also decided to like open it up to literally anybody who wants to come in and contribute. So we have people who have just passed their 12th and, are on their way to like joining a college, all the way to people who have like 10 years of industry experience. So very wide spectrum. People come in their free time, they work with others, they work on exciting projects, exciting and tough projects. So it teaches you how to like navigate projects. It teaches you how to ship features. It teaches you how to like make those features reliable, stable. So basically we try to like mimic the workings of a good tech company. And that helps you perform better at your current job, as well as helps you find other better jobs in future. So we care a lot about having extremely high quality developers, designers, and additional people who work at a tech company.
Okay. And Ankush, anyone who want to be a part of Real Dev community, how can they join?
Generally speaking, I only want people in this community who are going to put in the effort. I do not tolerate dead weight. So anybody who comes in for fun and just like doesn't do anything, they get removed from the group pretty soon. So that we only have those folks who are like extremely motivated to put in the time and effort, because we are spending our time and effort in guiding people and making sure that they become better. So we don't want to like waste our time as well. To join, you can reach out to any one of the members, tell them about yourself a little bit and why you want to join and what you plan to get out of it. So just go to members.real-squad.com. There's a list of people there who are already who are members. There's the LinkedIn, Twitter information there. Ping them and ask for an invite. So I have worked on a wide array of programming languages. There's just too many of them. I'm not going to say I'm an expert in all of them. Like I probably am not even like an intermediate developer in many of them. I've done, I have done JavaScript because obviously web. I have done Java. I have done C++, C#, all those traditional college languages. I've done PHP. What else? Yeah, those are typically the ones I've used the most. And Ruby on Rails, another one. And I don't have a favorite language. Like currently in our community, they're also learning Go and Rust. And I'm very excited about those two. I don't have a favorite language. I like to basically choose the right tool for the right job. So whenever the need is there, I choose the right language based on like a lot of different trade-offs, learn it, and then use it. So I don't have a favorite language. I don't want to like get into that, comfort zone with any language. It's always about the right language for the right job. So yeah, JavaScript tends to be the one which I use the most, just because I develop a lot for the web and I continue to develop for the web. But yeah, I've done a lot of Java in the past for Android development. At current work, I use Java quite a bit. So yeah, it depends. I don't have a favorite programming language. I would say make sure that you focus on understanding the mental model of any language that you pick. So I often see people trying to pick up one language and then immediately trying to pick up another language and trying to force their understanding of one language into the other. So a classic example of that would be somebody doing Java in college, knowing how to use sleeps and timers. They come to the JavaScript world and then they try to block the main thread, trying to basically create some kind of a sleep version of their own, which is extremely bad idea because they don't understand the environment in which JavaScript runs. So first, understand the mental model of the language very well, whichever one you choose. If you're starting out, learn one object-oriented language. I would say go with Java because there is enough Java code out there and it will be there for a while. It's a very safe bet. A lot of companies, in fact, need you to know Java. They need you to know Spring Boot. So it also helps you find your initial first job. Then you cannot go wrong with JavaScript because JavaScript you can use for both backend and frontend. So you can build out apps and prototypes quickly. And then you become very good with web, especially if you learn JavaScript the right way. So do these two from the start. Java and JavaScript. They are not the same, just FYI. Every language is built for a very specific reason, or rather a trade-off. Some languages might be harder to work with, but over time perform better in terms of performance. Some languages are easier to get started with. They help you prototype soon. So if there is a language that exists, try to dive deep into the reasons why that language was created in the first place. Right? For example, so there were so many languages out there. There's C, C++, Java, JavaScript, Go. Then why is it that people try to create a new language like Rust? What was missing in the other languages that somebody had to stop shipping features, get an army of developers, and then create a new language? Like creating a language is hard, but there has to be a very compelling reason for that language to exist. So every language has their pros and cons. So there is no such thing as this language is better than this language. There is always a context that decides what language might be better suited for that particular area. So focus on that. Focus on the reasoning part. Like I said, JavaScript helps you build for web, but then people decided that was not enough. So they also ported it over to using backends. So if you learn JavaScript, it's easy to become a full stack engineer, which means you can be a backend developer as well as a front end developer. And building for web like almost every company would have a web app. So if you learn JavaScript and if you learn web development, so web development is not just JavaScript, right? JavaScript is just one part of it. So understand the concept of web development. It's there for every machine. There are a lot of browsers. There are a lot of companies who want web developers. So learning JavaScript is a very nice stepping stone to then becoming a good web developer, which then opens up a lot more opportunities for you. So oftentimes when we are, starting out our programming journeys or when we are in college, we have this very narrow-minded approach to just learning one or two things and like trying to use that throughout the career and like that's it. I have the opinion, it's my pure opinion that the tech part is actually the easy part of the job. You learn one language, you learn, one way of doing things, you can create something out of it. Learning how to deal with people, learning how to deliver projects on time, learning how to like make sure your code runs reliably for the user. Those are the hardest challenges, which people don't think about when they are learning things. That comes from experience, and then that comes when you care about what you're building. So building is one of the easy parts of the problem. You need to learn, like no good software is written alone. So you need to know how to work with other people, how to resolve issues, how to move forward when things get stuck, how you deploy your code, how your user gets the code, how they use it, how the code stays reliable even when you push changes, because you don't want your application to stagnate. You always want to push new things. And as many of you know, when you push new things, sometimes things break. So what kind of testing do you do? What kind of things do you put in your code that makes your code stable over time and not worse? So that's there are like a lot of aspects to it. I shared a post written by Jeet from who's the global CTO of Cars24, which actually walks you through like a lot of very important points which a developer should do apart from coding. So go visit his profile, find that post. If not, ping me, I'll send you the link. But that's a very short summary of like some of the good points people should think about. And then these are the kind of things that we focus in Real Dev Squad as well. Because like I said, teaching programming is the easy part. Teaching how to be a great engineer, that is the hard part. And those are some of the points that I mentioned that help you outside coding. I would say it's pretty important for multiple reasons. Even if you're not looking for a job change, let's assume you're not looking for a job change. I would say that at any point, you should be a great engineer who always has opportunities available to them, right? You should not be looking for jobs. Jobs should be looking for you. When you're part of the community, when you're doing side projects, you are exposed to a lot more ideas from outside the company. If you're working 9 to 5 at your company's problems, you get very drawn into just solving inside the box problems of your company, right? So if you're using one particular language in the company, if there's one project you've been working on for the last 2-3 years, it pretty much stays the same. Like you get very comfortable with it. When you work on side projects, when you work with other people from other companies, you get exposed to so many other things happening, maybe new things, maybe some problems they've faced. You get a lot of new ideas that you can then bring back into your current work. And that sets you apart from the other engineers in your team at your current company. It helps you grow. It helps you network. And when the time comes, if people are looking for you, they already know what kind of a engineer or what kind of an employee you are, what kind of skills you possess. So they're able to make warm introductions and get you even new opportunities outside your current work. So it helps you grow. It helps you find new opportunities. And it helps you stay fresh with new information out there. And also learn from other people's mistakes. So I've made bazillion mistakes in my career, in my college. Some of them that I can think on off top of my head. First, find multiple mentors, not just one, because the one person you think is a good mentor, over time you might realize that they're okay. Their opinions weren't that great, and by then it might be too late for you. So have multiple mentors. Try to cross-validate the information that you receive. Network. Even it doesn't matter if you're in college or if you are in the industry. Network as much as you can. Go to hackathons. Do side projects. be part of communities, contribute to open source, give sessions, join Recro. Like there are so many things that you can do that will help you become part of something bigger. Dive deep into whatever you are doing, like know the reason for whatever you're trying to. So if you're learning Java in your college, for example, think of the ways that you can use it outside your assignments or projects or whatever, like, whatever limited scope that you're given. Try to like use it a bit more, like that will bring you experience. One of my biggest mistakes, which maybe cost me, build projects that you give to actual users. So if you're building something for fun, don't just build it for fun. Say, okay, I have built the Netflix clone and done. This is my GitHub. Bye-bye. Make something useful, no matter how useful it is. It can be a very simple website that does something very specific to your college or very specific to a bunch of people. Maybe somebody's talking about how they don't have this thing which does something with their text or tries to like find them tickets or whatever it is. Build that out and give it to actual people. Because then you learn about a whole lot of things of how your code becomes alive. And that teaches you a lot of useful skills. That is something I did not do. I built a lot of projects and I jumped to the next one. I did not keep my projects alive over a long time, and I did not give it to real people, which was a big mistake in my life. Learn how to sell. And when I say sell, like selling always is, marked with the wrong connotations, but learn how to sell your good skills. Like, how are you vocal about what you know? Because if you don't do your own selling, and selling might be in front of like interview is selling, right? You go to an interview to like sell how good of a person or how good of a developer you are. Learn how to be effective in that. When you build something and you want people to use it, learn how to sell that. So learn to be like more out and about with whatever you do. Focus on your LinkedIn, focus on your Twitter. Keep those two, at least those two, and GitHub if you're a developer. These three platforms need to be alive. It takes time. Like these are not something that you just build in 2 days and just display saying, hey, I just built this 2 days ago. Whatever you're doing, document it. If you are reading something interesting, reshare it with your followers. Even if you have like 5 followers, do it religiously. Over time, that will build your profile. So when somebody sees it, they'll see the timeline and they'll say, oh, wow, this person has been doing and growing for so long. Maybe I should follow him or her, or maybe I should like reach out to them and try to hire them. So focus on your online persona. Don't just have an account, no profile picture, capital, small letters here and there, weird usernames. Like focus on that kind of a format which makes you look good, again, like which sells you better. So yeah, these are some of the mistakes that I can think which I did. One more which I will recommend is join an A-list company as soon as possible, even if it's not the most perfect role for you, because joining a branded company helps you with opening doors to future startups, future companies that you may want to join. It gives a lot of credibility to your profile. So try to join a branded company as soon as you can, at least for a year or two. And if you like it, stay, solve the challenges, try to grow in that company. And if you don't like it, it'll open up a lot more doors for you. So yeah, those are some of the things that I think were my mistakes, which kind of in the end worked out for me. But if given a chance, I would take care of them from my early days in college now. I definitely see web becoming stronger in the coming years. It's almost reached the level of native apps. Day and day, it's introducing new APIs to do something similar to what native apps can do. It's still not completely there, but it's getting very close. It's converging for sure. I see that continuing. I am definitely excited about things like WebAssembly, which lets you like write code in so many different languages, which has their pros, and then compiling it down to other platforms, especially for browsers. So that's going to be an amazing thing going forward. And yeah, I see a lot of technologies coming up that is basically going to improve the developer's ability to ship features faster and ship features which are stable. Um, so more focus on sending out features because the world has become very competitive. So you always want to like be out there as soon as you can. And that means not to do a lot of boilerplate. So I think that trend will continue for sure. Um, yeah, in terms of like when you say technology, do you mean like any technology or specific to like programming and developers?
Specific to programming and
Okay,
developers.
specific to programming, I think WebAssembly is something I'm excited about. Cloud computing will keep improving. So we've had this transition from infrastructure as a service to platform as a service. That trend will continue. Like nowadays, if you have to deploy your code, many times you don't have to care about what OS, what machine, where it is running. You just say, hey, this is my PHP code, deploy, and then the new code is available. I don't know why I said PHP. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in comments are going to like bash me for it. But same thing with JavaScript code or Rust code or Go or whatever. And that trend will also like get better. I mean, we've already reached like just deploying cloud functions or worker functions or like these Lambda functions that, the serverless computing. It made things so easy. You just deploy your basic level code and you just have a very uh, ubiquitous, prevalent backend available for you to use. So things are going to get easier from here. So these are some of the things, some of the technologies that I think in future will continue. And who knows, like maybe there'll be something even more interesting that will show up that will change the way and change the reasons which we build apps for. So let's see what the future holds. I think a lot of roles around like persistent storage of data, like for example, database administrators, I think those roles are going to diminish significantly, and they have already diminished significantly. And same thing with like managing infrastructure. Earlier you kind of like every company needed to have their own infrastructure, own like backend to like support their company's needs. Now you just spin up AWS, you spin up Azure, you spin up GCP, and you don't need a whole dedicated team. You just need a small team of DevOps, very talented DevOps engineers who can just do that work for you. And now we're reaching a point where full stack engineers can do that work and manage it. So I think that those backend infrastructure roles are going to like reduce very, very, very significantly. So yeah, I think that's going to like go away fast. What other roles? Automation is going to like get better. It's going to take away a lot of jobs, but then it's also going to create a lot more skilled jobs. What else would be there? Yeah, I think that's what comes to mind right now. So first of all, rewind this video and watch all the questions again, and like do a second pass and try to like absorb those answers because most of those answers are going to repeat. Apart from that, I would say you're already learning a lot of your knowledge part, but there is no substitute for experience. So try to get experience as much as possible. That might be doing small internships and then maybe like small projects. Maybe your college has some kind of a club, or maybe you can start one. If your college doesn't have a club, that is the easiest to start. Like you can say, hey, we're going to like start off C++, DSA, web development, whatever club you are passionate about, and get 2 people, get 5 people, try to get sponsors, try to talk to like other companies who sponsor students. If not, join the existing club. Focus on your people skills a lot, because your tech skills will take you to a point and stop. Your people skill is what will determine the quality of your career going forward. How you get promoted, how you get better opportunities. So one thing from people skill that also I like kind of complement to that is ownership. Start owning problems. I often see developers, not just like in college, but even like who've been working for 5-6 years. They don't own problems. They always wait for somebody to tell them what to do. So they're inside a box. They're like, okay, give me my class to build, give me my component to build, give me my page to build, and I'll build it. They don't think about, okay, I'm seeing that our customers are complaining about this issue so often and nobody's doing anything about it. Let me own this problem and see how I can work with other teams, other people, other developers, other product managers, and solve this. Like I'll be the point of contact for solving this problem. You may not know anything about that problem. You may not know anything about the solution, but start, like take the ownership. It might take 6 months, it might take a year. Make progress. And same thing applies if you're in college. Like I think the question was more towards college, but the same thing applies there. Like think about the end result and work your way back and accomplish those steps. Don't let fear and especially self-doubt eat you. That, okay, this would have been nice if it existed, but I don't know what to do. If you don't know what to do, in Hotstar, we had a saying that if you ask, you are it, which means that if you ask a question and nobody knows the answer to that question, then you are it, which means you have to find the answer and then tell everybody. Because since you have asked the question and nobody has the answer, you now have the most information in the room about the nature of the question. So you are the most suited person to find the answer because nobody else can help you right now. So own problems, work on people's skills, and of course, like get better in the tech that you're doing. Network a lot. Don't run after college placements. Like, yes, I'm not saying ignore them, but there is a very big world outside college placements. Ask yourself the question that there are 10 lakh computer science students, or in your case, like whatever field you are in, graduating every year from colleges. What are you doing that makes you stand out from that crowd? If you're doing the same things, playing the same rules, why should a company look at you differently? There's a limited amount of good jobs, good being the keyword here. If you want that good job, you have to prove you're good. So you have to be different, you have to be better. So focus on what that definition is. So always ask your mentors, always ask people who are already in the industry. So, definitely like Recro is a great community for this. You'll find like a lot of people who are already working in great companies here. So join Recro, join Real Discord, and reach out to people on LinkedIn. Be nice, like don't spam people, please. It's very annoying, but be nice, contribute, participate in discussions. Like, if somebody's tweeting out about an article, if they've written something, go read it and offer your 2 cents. Over time, you will build some kind of a bond with that person and they're more likely to help you. So be engaged. Don't let this fact that I'm a fresher or I'm, just in college, so I don't know anything. Everybody knows something. And second thing, which is very close to me, is teach. You may know the very simplest of things, but you can always find somebody who doesn't even know that. So take a little bit of ownership and teach them that. Because sometimes what happens is in teaching, the other person asks you questions which you don't know the answer to, and that tells you where your gaps are. So learn those gaps and then teach them again, and just repeat that cycle. So you will also help others in their journey and also end up becoming better yourself. There are some of the points, there are probably a lot more, but these are some of the quick points that I can think about this question. So thank you for watching Dev Chats with Recro. And I'm Ankush Tharkar. Follow me at LinkedIn and Twitter. Same first name, last name.